Chapter 3 Blood of the Same Vein. The royal chapel was quiet and cold, a place made to worship gods, not kings. The walls bore stained glass images of warriors and saints, but the man seated in the front pew was no saint. King Alderic sat straight, hands clasped over a cane he didn't yet need. The crown resting beside him on the bench was larger, heavier than Thorian's, like a sleeping weapon. King Alderic had been awake since before dawn, watching the storm and counting the quiet moments before they shattered. The door creaked as someone entered. "Enter," he said, not turning to look. Thorian stepped into the candlelit gloom. "You summoned me?" King Alderic rose slowly, facing his eldest son with eyes the color of old steel. "Tell me, Thorian, what is a crown worth?" Thorian thought for a moment. "Everything," he said finally. The king's lips curled, a small, almost bitter smile. "Wrong. It's worth whoever wears it. Gold is soft. Power is borrowed. But men are carved by the blade." Thorian stared at his father, confused. "I don't understand." Alderic stepped closer until they were standing just a few feet apart. "You will," he said quietly. "And when the time comes, if you're still standing, you'll wish you didn't." In the gardens, Elian stood at the edge of a koi pond, watching the fish break the surface like breathing jewels. Myra approached quietly behind him. "You've been quiet," she said softly. He didn't turn, only watching the fish. "You were right," she blinked. "About what?" "The lies, the plotting, everything," he answered darkly. She waited, but he didn't continue. He looked as if he'd aged years in a single night. "Elian, what did you hear?" she asked carefully. His jaw clenched. "Enough to know. They don't want Thorian to fail. They want him gone," he said bluntly. Myra's voice went sharp. "You told him?" He flinched, almost defensively. "No." "Well, why not?" she said in a near whisper, stepping closer. Elian clenched his jaw, the muscles in his hands tensing. "Because if he knew, he'd face it alone. He always does." Myra crossed her arms. "Then help him." He turned to look at her, anger and frustration burning in his eyes. "What if helping him means killing the people who raised us?" In the throne hall, an open council was called. The air was heavy with perfume and sweat, the nobles lining the pillars like moths. Thorian stood beside the throne. Alderic remained seated, his hand on the pommel of his sword. "Elian," the king said in a loud voice, "will now take a formal position on the High Council." Gasps of surprise rang out around the room. Thorian's chest tightened as he watched his brother. Elian stepped forward a moment, his tone steady. "With respect, your majesty, I decline." Whispers of confusion and shock filled the air. Alderic's eyes narrowed. "Decline? I serve the crown better outside the walls of this chamber," Elian said quietly. Alderic's jaw clenched. "You are part of the crown, whether you like it or not." Elian met his eyes squarely. "I am part of him." He gestured to Thorian, "Not the throne." The silence that followed was heavy, almost stifling. That night, thunder rolled overhead once more, as if the skies remembered something they wanted to say days ago. Thorian paced restlessly in his study, still dressed in formal clothes. The scroll, the whispers, the change in Elian, all of it swirled like a storm inside his head. When the door burst open suddenly, Thorian spun around, ready to defend himself. It was just Elian. "Get out," he snapped at the guards, who hesitated before closing the door behind him. Thorian's heart sank at the expression on Elian's face. Elian cut him off. "They're planning something." Thorian nodded. "I know." Elian seemed stunned. "You knew?" Thorian ran a tired hand over his face. "I knew, but I didn't want to believe it." Elian's laugh was sharp, bitter. "You really thought silence would save you?" Thorian met his eyes defiantly. "I thought it would protect you." Elian stepped forward, clenching his fists. "You're my brother, my blood. I don't care about their schemes, but if they touch you, if they hurt you..." Thorian grabbed his wrist tightly. "Then what? You'll burn the whole court down?" "There are rules, consequences." Elian clenched his jaw, his voice low and dangerous. "So let them come." They faced each other, breaths harsh in the quiet room. Then Elian stepped back, dropping his hand from Thorian's grip. "You should talk to father now," he said tersely. Thorian stared at him, confused. "Why?" Elian met his eyes steadily. "Because tomorrow they're calling for a vote, a public one, on whether the line of succession, whether it can be re-evaluated."